Hi, never in a million years did I think that we would have a drone like this one, where you could stick it in your pocket, pull it out, and then within seconds you just push a button and it's in the air, following you around, getting some really cool shots. But here we are. So let's talk about the design of this drone first. As you can tell, it's really small. It's one of the smallest drones they have on offer at the moment. It's compact, it's really, really light. It's 151 grams compared to Neo 1, which was 135 grams. So it's a little bit heavier, but it is a bit bigger, so that kind of makes sense. The drone is flown by 4 propellers. The propellers are tiny in size, and they're also protected by these guards. Now these guards are just made of plastic, but they work super well. You don't have to worry about if it crashes into something, it's gonna completely destroy the propellers. You don't have to worry about if it crashes into someone, it's gonna hurt them, because they're enclosed in these guards. So you don't have to worry about any of that sort of stuff. It's got cameras and sensors pretty much everywhere on this drone. You've got omnidirectional sensor here on the front. You've got a little sensor on the top and on the bottom. It's got vent holes on the side to keep it cool. And you've got your USB-C port on the back to charge the battery on the drone or to transfer your video files to your PC. Now you might think that this is another sensor, but actually what it is it's an information screen, and it tells you what mode that the drone is in. So if you're in follow mode, or if you're in circle mode, rocket mode, whatever mode you are, it'll have the word on there, and it will tell you where the drone will be positioned and how far or high it will go. So that's something that the first Neo didn't have, so that's a really great upgrade. And to change the settings on the drone, you can do it via the DJI Fly app, or my preferred method is to just use the buttons. So you've got 3 buttons on the side here. 2 of them change the mode for the drone and the settings, and one of them it basically tells it to take off. And of course you got your battery and on and off button on the top, and that's pretty much it. So the camera itself, the sensor is a 1.5 inch, and it's capable of doing 4K 60 or 4K 100 if you want to get some slow-mo shots. And that is a huge upgrade from the first Neo, which was only capable of 4K 30. And another huge upgrade from the first one is the 2-axis gimbal. Now the first Neo had only 1-axis gimbal, so it could go up and down like this, but now the Neo 2 is capable of going left and right, so your shots are much more stable with this drone compared to the first Neo. So it's a huge upgrade. So let's go over some of the features of the drone. So the tracking on this drone is phenomenal. It's really good. Compared to the first drone, there was no active track, but this thing will follow you around. It will follow you on a bicycle, and the new omnidirectional sensing capabilities on this drone are amazing. It will fly in between trees, it will fly around trees, it won't hit branches. It is really good at avoiding obstacles, so you don't have to worry about it crashing into anything. The gesture control. Now the gesture control is, I would say, the main way that you control this drone. For me anyway, it's my favorite way of controlling this drone. There are a number of ways to control the drone, so obviously you've got the gesture control. Basically, you hold it in your palm like this, you push the takeoff button, it lifts off, and it will track you straight away. It will follow you everywhere, and all you have to do to start the gesture controlling is to hold your hand out. So you kind of hold it out towards the camera, and a little blue light will show up on the drone to indicate that it's being controlled by gestures. And it's kind of like you're Jedi minding, you're using the Force to control the drone. It's really cool actually, but it works really well. I never had any issues with it so far. You can go right, you can go left, go up and down, or you can show both your hands, and then you can control the distance, so you can go further or closer to you. And yeah, like I said, it's worked 10 times out of 10 for me so far. I've even been using it with dark gloves on, and I've had no issues whatsoever. So that's one of the ways you can control the drone. It's the main way that I control the drone. The other way is you can connect it to your phone with the DJI Fly app, and you can manually control it. There are a few extra settings that you can change on the drone as well. I believe there's a few extra modes you can select. But yeah, you can manually control the drone if you want to get some scenic shots. I probably wouldn't use it for that, and I'll tell you why later. There's also a combo you can buy that includes a remote controller that comes with it. Connect it to your phone and the DJI Fly app, and you can control it with a controller. You can also get it in a combo with a motion controller and goggles. So that's also one way to use this drone. I probably wouldn't though, because it's not really an FPV drone. It's more of a beginner-friendly, easy-to-use drone. So I wouldn't use it for FPV. Something like the Avata, you'd probably be better off getting if you wanted to use the motion controllers and goggles. And also, another way you can control it that's new is the voice control. I haven't used the voice control yet, but from what I've seen, the commands need to be really specific. But again, I can't speak on how the voice controlling would work. I haven't used it personally. I think the gesture control is more than enough. With the voice control, I believe you need to connect earbuds to it, or you can talk to the app in the phone. But again, you have to be really specific with your words. In regards to the shooting methods, it's got some cool modes. So obviously the main mode is follow mode, which basically it flies at a predetermined distance that you select, and it will follow you depending on what orientation you want it to. It will follow you from the front, from the back, maybe from the sides. It's also got a selfie shot mode, so it will take off, go to a predetermined distance, and then take 3 shots of you. So that mode's pretty cool. But the image quality for the pictures isn't it's not, again, we'll talk about it later, but it's not fantastic, but it's still a cool thing to have. On a drone like this, it's really cool. It's got other modes like rocket, where it will fly above you and look down from below and spin in a circle, going up and coming back down. So that's a pretty cool mode to have as well. There's one called circle, where it will go to a predetermined distance and it will literally circle around you. And there's a whole bunch of other ones. There's one called Droney, where I believe it will sort of, again, circle you, but maybe do it a little bit closer. And all of these modes are selectable by just pushing the buttons on the side of the drone. So again, you don't have to get out your phone, connect it to the drone, select the options in your phone. It's super easy to use just with the buttons and your hand gestures. That's one of the main strengths of this drone. All you got to do is pull it out of your pocket, not throw it in the air, but you push the button, it'll take off. I wish you could. If you could throw it in the air like some kind of a futuristic soldier with a drone that's going to follow you, that will be sick, but all you got to do is push the button. It counts down with a voice prompt and it'll lift off. It'll do whatever mode that you've selected, and all you got to do is hold your hand out again. The camera will register that you're wanting it to come back, and it will fly right back to your hand and land in your palm. I had a little bit of trouble getting it to land in my palm when I was wearing the dark gloves. I'm assuming because it looked down and I couldn't see where my hand was. I wouldn't recommend grabbing the drone because when you do, it makes a really loud noise. It's kind of scary actually.
So it has a bit of trouble. If you wear gloves, it can detect that you're holding your hand out, but I think it doesn't recognize that there's a hand there. So it kind of lingers in the air and it says, well, hang on, there is no hand. What's going on? So you might have to just kind of do one of these.
Collision detected.
And that's it.
Landing automatically.
I wouldn't recommend doing that though, that's for sure.
So I wouldn't recommend doing that, but again, 9 times out of 10, the palm landing works perfectly well. So if you were to control the drone with your phone, it has a Wi-Fi range of, on paper has a Wi-Fi range of 500 meters. But from what I used, I think I got maximum maybe between 50 and 100 meters, something like that. That's when your video transmission is going to start getting a bit choppy, really choppy. For me it was. Half a kilometer, to say it's going to stay in Wi-Fi range of half a kilometer, I'm not so sure about that. If you do get the controller combo, it will come with a transceiver that you connect on the back of the drone, so it will extend the range. But yeah, I don't think you're going to get half a kilometer of range just by connecting it to your phone. I don't think it's going to happen. The Neo 1 on paper had 50 meters. I think it's probably the same. So take 500 meters with a grain of salt, because I don't think it's correct. And the battery life on paper is 19 minutes. It's an extra minute than the DJI Neo 1, but that's on paper. I think realistically I was getting about between 10-15 minutes of battery life when it was just on follow. You're not always going to get the battery life that's on paper because they advertise that under extremely specific conditions. You know, I record at 4K 30 all the time. They probably have that battery life set up for 1080p 25 frames a second, something like that. So yeah, for 4K 30, I'd say about 10-15 minutes is the maximum you're going to get. So the storage on this in this drone is, it's got 49 gigabytes of internal storage, which is over double of what the Neo 1 had. The Neo 1 had 22 gigabytes only. So that's a huge improvement from the first one. And the other thing is there's no SD card slot for this drone. So you're not going to be ejecting an SD card and plugging it into your computer and transferring your files that way. You will need to connect it via USB-C. So the price of this drone, I'm not going to list off all of the combos because there's a lot of combos you can get for this drone. I think there's about 3 or 4 depending on where you live, but in where I live there's three iterations you can get. You can get the drone only, which is what I got. Just comes with the drone and 1 battery. No controllers, no extra batteries, no charger, no nothing. So you can get that one, which was 239 euros. I'll put all the pricing on the side here for all the combos and different things. But you can get this, the drone only. There's combos where you could get the drone with 2 extra batteries and a charger. You can get the drone in a fly more combo with the extra batteries, the charger, a remote controller. You could get a FPV combo kit with the goggles and the motion controller. There's a lot that you can get with this specific drone. So let's talk about the downsides of this particular drone. Obviously the size of this drone, so the size is amazing. That's in this case I think smaller the better because it's portable. You can put it in your pocket and you don't have to worry about the propellers getting damaged from being in your pocket or in your bag or whatever. You've simply got a camera guard and that's it. But being that it's so small, it also shows weakness in stability, and if there's even the slightest bit of wind, you will notice that it struggles to stabilize itself because, you know, this thing is 150 grams. It's you know, it's tiny. So that's one downside. Another downside is, like I talked about before, the range on this thing. So, you know, the range, it says on paper is 500 meters, but again, I don't think you're gonna get 500 meters. For me, it was between 50 and 100 meters, so it was chopping out really, really bad. And if you're, you know, if you are moving and let's say if you're on a boat or in a car or something and you move away from your home point and it loses connection with your phone, this thing is just going to go right back to where you came from. And if you're on a boat, it's going to go right back to where you took off from in the water, and it's going to drop in the water. So you're going to lose it that way. So the range on this thing is a big weakness unless you have the transmitter with the controller. I wouldn't advise using it over water. In fact, I think the app actually says try to avoid water because, again, if it loses you and it lands back where it came from, it's gone. And it is a shame that you do need an extra transmitter to connect it with the controller. So that's just an extra thing that you got to take with you, unfortunately. Another downside is there's no ND filter set. You can't buy any ND filter set with this drone. And the reason you can't buy an ND filter set is because there is no option to control any pro settings for this drone. There is no D-Log-N option. There is no option to control your exposure. There's no option to control or lock your shutter speed. So you can't get that cinematic blurry effect with this drone at all. There's nothing like that you can get, unfortunately. It's really tailored to people that don't want to tweak their footage afterwards. It's just like a point and shoot camera. You know, it'll fly up, take whatever you need. You plug it into your computer, you get what you want, and that's it. And then you can just send the footage to your friends. You won't be editing a lot with the footage that you get off this drone at all. And all of that leads me to the biggest downside, I think, with this drone, because this thing is fantastic, but the biggest downside, I think, to this drone is its picture quality. It does have a small sensor because, you know, the camera itself is really, really small. You're not going to get the best picture quality with this drone. If it had a bigger sensor, it probably would be, it'd look a lot better, but you know, you're not going to be getting great scenic shots. It is purely for, I would say, close-up shots of a person or an object. You're not going to get any cinematic scenery shots with this drone. It's just not going to happen. The picture quality just isn't good enough. That's probably the biggest letdown with this drone, unfortunately. And it makes me wonder if we had the potential that this drone has in, say, like the Mini 5 Pro with the gesture controls, then the Mini 5 Pro would be such a better buy. If you could control the Mini 5 without a controller and just use gestures, that would be freaking amazing. The picture quality that you would get would be insane with the sensor size on that drone. In the older DJI drones, they did have gesture control, but they got rid of that, and I believe they're only in the smaller drones now, which probably, you know, business-wise, it's probably a good decision for them, because now they can sell different types of drones to the same people. If you want a drone that you can control with your gestures, or you want one that can fly with a controller and get nice cinematic shots or scenery shots, you have to buy a different drone. But yeah, I mean, if the Mini 5 Pro had gesture control, that would be a freaking game changer. But again, no one would have to buy this drone. So probably not the best business decision on DJI's behalf. So having said all that, who would this drone be for? Anyone that wants to get some quick gimmicky shots of themselves, that's probably who it's for. It's marketed for people like that. People who maybe want to get some family shots quickly from an aerial point of view. If you want to get some weird, you know, Grand Theft Auto gameplay style video from like the follow behind view, you can get that. But again, it's not a camera that is going to show great quality imaging, especially with things that are far away. The sensor size just isn't big enough. Again, the drone's a little bit gimmicky, but you know, it's great for kids. My son and I were playing with this drone for a long time, and it's a lot of fun. You know that it's not going to run into anything, it's not going to break, it's not going to maybe hit your child and hurt them because of the propeller guards. It's, in that sense, it's a great little drone to have. But yeah, it's very beginner focused and not prosumer focused. So yeah, if you're a prosumer, I wouldn't buy this drone to get scenic shots or professional looking cinematic shots. I would not buy this drone. I wouldn't buy this drone for anything that you need to track that's fast, because the drone is not that fast. It can track up to 12 meters a second. So you're not going to be tracking, it will track a bicycle, but you're not going to be using this to track a speedboat. You're not going to use this to track a car. You're not going to use this to track a motorbike, even though, you know, being able to pull one out of your side saddle and just throw it in the air and get it to follow you, that would be so cool, but it's just not powerful enough, unfortunately. And the general consensus is you're not going to use this to get far away shots, because again, the quality just isn't good enough, and you're not going to be able to see the details in those sort of shots. Most of the time, you need the subject to be close to get any sort of good looking detail. But overall, I think it's a fun little drone. It's a little bit gimmicky. It's great for kids. It's great if you want to take some selfie shots, some cool selfie angle videos. The pricing is decent. For 239 euros for the drone only, it's not so bad. Seeing that you can control it with your hands only, gestures, I would probably say if you want to get this drone, get the drone only. I don't think the value is there for the fly more combos. Again, you're not going to want to use this as an FPV drone because it's not designed like that. It's not fast enough. It's just not an FPV drone. And I don't think you really need a controller for this drone, because you're not going to sort of fly it far away and get good cinematic shots with the size of the sensor in the camera. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, if you want to pick one of these drones up, I would opt for the drone only model. Anyway, that's the DJI Neo 2. I do have the Osmo Action 6 video coming out soon, hopefully, so please stay tuned for that. If you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe. It really helps me. I know I sound like a loser saying this, but I am almost at 50 subscribers. So it's a very exciting time for me. Anyway, chuck a comment down if you want to talk about this drone in particular, if there's anything you want to ask. And I'm hoping to see you in the next video with the Osmo Action 6. Take care. Is this the bottom or the top? This is what I get confused about. Is that the bottom? Oh, they should have wording on here that says top bottom, so you know. DJI. Right on the guards. Top, bottom, so we know. Okay, done.